Hello, friends. Music Man here. And yeah, know what you're thinking. Where have you been? What have you been doing? It's been like 3 months and you haven't said anything to us. Well, my brother-in-law and I were having a conversation last night, and there's some pretty wacky theories going on with the new Star Wars movie coming out in November, December. The Rise of Skywalker. Rise of Skywalker, not Rise of the Skywalker, not Rise of Skywalker, it's just Rise of Skywalker. So there's a lot of speculation going on. And so we're going to talk about it and see if you like what we came up with. We have our own little theory about how the next movie is going to play out. And I think something they've been keeping a secret, and they've kept the secret way too long, and it's going to kind of frustrate people, but we feel that it's kind of obvious what it is. And so, coming at you right now, Music Man and the movies. Okay, we all agree that Kathleen Kennedy needs to be fired. And that monstrosity that Rian Johnson made, it's horrible. What a terrible movie. I mean, how can you get worse than spaceships flying really slow in outer space chasing each other, and the casino thing, and Ray is just a kid of junk traders, and what? The whole thing is just a mess. So now J.J. Abrams is coming back in to direct the final movie, Rise of Skywalker. So he's got a big mess to fix. So how's he going to fix it? Well, we have our own little theories here. There's a lot of theories going around. I'm sure you've heard some of the theories. Number one is the Rise of Skywalker is going to be about the rise of a new religion. And Skywalker is going to be a religion. And I'm just sure at the regular Cineplex, the family's going to want to walk in and watch a movie, what's supposed to be a space opera, family fare, about a new religion coming to rise, and they won't know what they're watching unless you're a real geek and a Star Wars fan. So that doesn't really hold water for me. If it holds water for you, good for you, but I think that's just getting really out there in their theories. Then there's all this talk of Darth Plagueis the Wise, that the whole time that he was around and he was basically possessing the Emperor. I mean, it's getting weird, folks. I'm telling you, there's some weird stuff out there. I mean, who's Darth Plagueis? First, I can just see people walking in the theater going, who's Darth Plagueis? What are you talking about? He hasn't been in any of the movies. There's been no discussion about him. Nothing's been set up for him. So we believe, my brother-in-law and I, that in a desperation attempt to save this franchise, who have they got to bring back? Well, they got to bring back the Emperor. Well, how are they going to bring him back? Well, there's a couple of ways. Number one is he's a dark side space ghost. You like that idea? No, I don't really like it either. The other idea might be that he might be a clone. But he'd have to be a clone, because if he comes back, then it destroys what Darth Vader did in Return of the Jedi when he killed the Emperor, when he threw him down the shaft. The whole thing, it's just getting messy, really, really messy. So let's try to simplify it a little bit. First of all, we meet a young girl in The Force Awakens that's on a desert planet, and she's there alone, and she's fascinated with the rebellion, because you can see that she has these little toys of the rebellion. And she's already really quite able to defend herself with a staff, and she's skilled, and she's a hunter, and reminds you of someone, doesn't it? Now, this is what my brother-in-law came up with, is that there's a rhythm, there's a rhyme to the Star Wars universe. This reminds you of someone, does it not? It reminds you of a young boy back in A New Hope, Luke Skywalker, yes. And suddenly, he's plunged into this war between the rebellion and the Empire. And now it's the First Order, or whatever. Just call it the Empire, it's the First Order, whatever. So this young girl is thrust immediately into this battle with the Empire, or the First Order. That's what they're calling it now. She said in an interview that it was obvious who she was. And so the obvious answer to who she is that somehow she is in the Skywalker family. Somehow. And I think that's the rhyme. Again, there's a rhythm, there's a rhyme. She's in the Skywalker family. So how do we kind of decipher through this? In the last movie, she goes to train with Luke Skywalker, and he takes the lightsaber and he just tosses it over his shoulder down the cliff. And we're set up for this ridiculous Luke Skywalker that's nothing like him. So in the midst of this is Ben Solo, who's been seduced by the dark side of the Force, and yet him and Rey have a really, really unique psychic or Force connection, psychic connection, whatever you want to call it. I mean, they're really close. Now, if you remember, Luke Skywalker called out to Leia in The Empire Strikes Back in the Cloud City when he was in trouble, and Leia heard him and came back and rescued him. So what does this sound like? And Rey can communicate and has a connection with Kylo Ren. There's a connection there. So obviously we've got to fix this problem. We've got this big problem going on. The people did not respond well that Rey is a nobody, just sold off by junk traders for money. I do believe that that's a lie. I believe that there's going to be a big surprise, a big reveal in the next movie that she is, believe it or not, Rey is a Skywalker. And most likely, that connection that special connection that they have in the Force, and the reason that she's so fast in learning the powers of the Force, so forth, is that she is in the Skywalker family. Now, this is just a theory. The theory is, as we were thinking about it, if you're thinking about Star Wars rhyming and there being a rhythm to it, is that she's most likely was hidden away and removed from the scene when Ben Solo was seduced by the Force and put on that planet. And if you remember, there's this elderly gentleman that was there and he was watching over her. I don't know the significance. I don't even know what his name was, but he was there on the planet. So she was not alone. She was being watched and she was being cared for, just like Luke was being cared for. Again, the rhythm, the rhyme. So we believe that Rey, here it comes, just let it soak in. Rey is a Skywalker. She's most likely Ben Solo's twin sister. That's going to be the big reveal in Rise of Skywalker, is that she actually is a Skywalker. And she's Ben Solo's twin sister. Now, how this is going to play out will be very interesting. Is Ben Solo going to come to the light side? Is she going to be seduced by the dark side? Don't know. But we know that these other theories are just getting wacky and they're just way out there. Obviously, J.J. Abrams said in the first movie that has always been about the Skywalker family. So we can't dismiss that. We can't say, oh, she's just a nobody. She's just a child of a junk traders. The movie is centered around Rey. And she said that it was obvious who she was. So, guess what, folks? Welcome to Rey Skywalker. That's who she's going to be. The rise of Skywalker is 1,000 generations is going to live on in her. She's going to pass on what she knows to the next generation. And how they're going to handle the ending of the movie, I know that it's already been changed. On one of the channels here, they've already said that they've changed the end of the movie. But I know that it's the only, as my brother-in-law spoke it's the only thing that makes sense. It's the only thing that rhymes with what's happened that's come before. And so J.J. Abrams knows this very well. If you remember The Force Awakens, it really rhymed and had a rhythm just like A New Hope. In fact, people said it was a copy. Well, of course it was a copy, because that's the way the Star Wars franchise works. So you're probably saying, you're crazy. There's no way that she is Rey Solo. That's just not possible. But and think about the context of that, the connection that she was with Han Solo that time, and he didn't know why he was, gravitated toward her. Maybe didn't know who she was. Potential that she was stolen, she was taken. And maybe at the early before, but somehow Ben knew about her, because if you remember in The Force Awakens, he freaked out when he said, "What girl?" And he started throwing a temper tantrum and slashing his lightsaber on the ship, and the stormtroopers came walking up, and then they got out of there. So he knows something about this girl. He knows that there's something important about her, and I believe that he used the lie to her just to deceive her.
And Leia did not know.
And Leia doesn't know. Han Solo doesn't know. Luke possibly knows. Who knows? But we know this is the only thing that's probably going to satisfy fans in the next movie. They've got to clean up the mess that they've made. Rey's got to be somebody significant. We believe that they're bringing the Emperor in just as an act of desperation. They killed Snoke way too early. They killed the real baddie really early. So J.J. Abrams is just an act of desperation to get us to come back to ground level with Star Wars, what Star Wars used to be, a fun family space opera. He has to bring the Emperor back. And so how he's going to do that, I discussed that. So what do you think? You can tell me in the comments below. Am I completely way off? Do you think this theory is nuts? That Rey is a Skywalker after all? I believe that she is. And I believe that when the movie comes out in November, December, people are going to be surprised. I don't think that's the full thing of the movie, is that Rey's a Skywalker. I think that it's going to create some conflict, and it's going to create some, how the story's going to be focused around. Is this conflict between Ben Solo, the dark side of the Force, the Skywalker family, and Rey, the light side of the Skywalker family. So, enjoy. Have a discussion about it. It's fun to discuss. Take care. See you later. Goodbye.